licensed marriage and family therapist, as well as a purpose coach. Are you living in your purpose? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Purpose and the necessity of really living out your purpose. So, I want to announce and show you all my workbook. It is behind every purpose is the power inside you to fulfill it. This is my latest workbook. The actual book will be coming out soon, but you can get started on your workbook. It is the 90-day workbook that will assist you to discover your purpose, uncover your gifts, and walk in your power and your purpose. Because actually, your purpose is your power. That's where your power lies. Wherever your purpose is, that's where your power lies. And so I created this workbook, because there are so many people I have found as a therapist, so many people who are not active in their purpose. A lot of people have gotten nowadays chasing coinage, they're chasing the money. And so there are so many different ways now that you can make money, that people are so just doing that, right? But what is happening is they're not finding fulfillment in doing that. So you can have all the money in the world, and I will say, I think Les Brown said that having it, he'd rather have it than not have it. And though that is true, right? I'd rather be fulfilled and have the money, right? And I know the fulfillment comes when you are following your purpose. So let me ask you a question, audience. Are you walking in your purpose? And so that's where this workbook comes in handy. It will help you get to your purpose. If you don't know your purpose, this workbook will actually lead you to your purpose. And what happens is, as you start walking in your purpose, the power starts to show up. The more you start walking in your purpose, power inside of you, and I say it's the Holy Spirit, starts to arise, leads, guides, directs you on where else you need to go. All right. So if you are not walking in your purpose, how do you know if you're walking in your purpose? What happens is you have a sense of fulfillment. Purpose is what God created you to do. So you have a sense of clarity. You have a sense of just really, it really is a peaceful thing. And let me talk a little bit about me and getting to this space. How did I get to this space of walking in my purpose? Well, one, I want you to know that most times you are already walking or doing something within your purpose, and you're not recognizing it. You're not paying attention to it. So I started out when I was about probably 19 years old. I started out as a nail tech, and that was before it became a big where the Asians really started to do nails. So I started out as a nail tech, and then I noticed that the Asians were starting to take over. And so I started to evaluate, and I was like, I saw clients leave, and they were, just going there because it was quicker. They could get in and out. So for me, I had to start evaluating. Am I really walking in what I've been called to do? If you are walking in your purpose, you may walk away from it, but you're going to come back to it. Purpose calls you. Purpose is something that's going to keep drawing you, because that's what God created you for. And so it's going to continue to tug at your heart, right? Even when you want to leave it. So, nonetheless, nails, I left that. I was working in a barbershop at the time. And so I saw the money that the barbers were making. And I was like, that's way more than me doing nails. And so I said, hmm, I wonder what, barbering would be like. I was there all the time, just making less money. So I said, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to barber school and see, can I do this thing of barbering? I said, I'm here in the shop anyway. So I ended up going to barber school and getting my license, and then went back to the same shop. No, I started at a different shop, and then I ended up back at the same shop that I was doing nails at. And so I noticed when I was barbering that I do the same thing pretty much, right? That I do as a therapist. I listen to, because as a barber, you become that person's therapist. They come in the chair. A lot of times they're talking about all of their stuff, they're dumping it on you. And I said, hmm, I started to evaluate. I was like, at 60 years old, am I going to be able to stand behind this chair? Am I going to want to stand behind this chair and be cutting people's hair? So I enjoyed barbering, but I started to think about other things that I could do. I really started to hone in on what I'm doing is really being a therapist behind this chair. I'm just cutting and listening, and probably then I was giving advice or listening and probably giving my input. And so I thought about other things that I could do, at the time, and couldn't come up with anything. And then several years later, as I kept questioning, because I knew that for me, I didn't want to be an old lady at 60, 70 years old standing behind a chair. So I knew I had to do something else. I knew that that just wasn't for me. But I did enjoy, I noticed that I enjoyed really helping, really actively listening and intently listening, all the things I do as a therapist. So then one day, several years after that, I ended up getting my own salon. And so, out the clear blue, to me, it was out the clear blue, but out the clear blue, I heard God tell me to go and register for school. And I was like, say what now? Because it was really random. It really seemed like it came from nowhere. And so he told me to go register, and I from there did 8 years straight, right? Like I literally could be a doctor right now. But anywho, 8 years straight, because I hadn't done any college prior to that. So I went and got my associates, went and got my bachelor's, and I then went and got my master's, and ended up as a therapist. And I know this is my purpose because I feel fulfillment on being able to help other people in the way of their mind, right? I just feel a sense of peace. Sorry about that. I'm trying to say, okay, it took a moment. It was disconnecting. Um, Purpose, when you're walking in your purpose, the money will come. One thing about it is God has created you specifically for this purpose, right? And because he created you specifically for this purpose, guess what? There are people who he is sending to you for your purpose. There's a million and one therapists out there, but there are therapists who want to come to me because of what I have to bring to them. And that's because of whatever stories, whatever things I have gone through. I am purposed to serve them. Okay, so purpose comes with a thing of being able to help somebody else solve their problem. There it is. Um, and so you know when you get this sense of fulfillment. This is something, me as a therapist, it is just a natural gift. I learned, that I naturally do this. And so it should be a natural thing. Like I said, it's something that you are already doing, I'm quite sure, prior to you stepping into knowing that that's actually my purpose. Okay. So I just want to I came on here to talk about purpose and to talk to you about purpose. And if you haven't yet figured out what your purpose is, to purchase the workbook. Start working on the workbook. Start getting so you can get an understanding of what your purpose is. There's a quote or a study in here that says, let me see if I can find it. Like, I think it was 68%, don't quote me, 68% of people aren't actually walking in their purpose. And a lot of that is due to them not knowing their purpose. 68%, like that's a large portion of the population who aren't really walking in what they've been called to do. What that means is there are plenty of people walking around here who aren't being their problems aren't being solved because that person is not in alignment, is not walking in what they were created to do. All right. So if you don't know your purpose, get the book, get the workbook. Behind every purpose is the power inside you to fulfill it. All right. Get to know your purpose. Start walking in your purpose. You will notice you will be fulfilled when you are walking in your purpose. That doesn't mean, and I'll leave this for next month's power and purpose session. That doesn't mean that purpose can't expand. It can't expand to you doing something else, but it still will be in that same alignment, right? You still will be using those same gifts. So that's one thing too. Learning your gifts, looking back at your story, all of those are going to lead you, are going to be clues into your purpose. So if you would like to purchase the workbook, my website will be up. My website will be up Monday to 5/24. So on Monday, you will be able to go on there and get the workbook, and begin to really start honing in on and learning what your purpose is. It is actually, like I say, it's a 90-day workbook. So, it's quite intense. I would say work at it each day as it comes. If you can dedicate 90 days, in 90 days, you will know your purpose and be able to start walking in your purpose. Okay? So spread the word. You may know your purpose, but there may be people around you who may not know their purpose. And one thing that I'm going to do is get this in the hands of, I'm going to come up with a program and get this in the hands of really young kids so that they can start learning their purpose at a very young age. So by the time it's time for them to make the decision if they want to go to college or trade school or work a job, they will know what their purpose is and they will be able to choose a career based on what their purpose is, not just I'm going to college because my parents want me to go to college. Okay, so this is a good book, great book for them to work on as well. High schoolers, I would say as young as seventh, eighth grade. It's written in plain language, right? Where I would say a seventh, eighth, ninth grader can start working on and finding out their purpose. So if you have younger adults and you want them to really know what their purpose is, hey, you can get the workbook for them as well. Workbook is available on Monday, 2/5/24 at www.tony, Tony, Denise, Denise, Lattimore, Lattimore.com. All right. I'll be back next month to talk more power and purpose. In the meantime, get your workbook and start putting in your work so that you can get familiar with what your purpose is in life. All right. And begin to walk in that and have fulfillment in life. All right. I will see you back next month, the first Friday of the month, and we will talk more power and purpose. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right. Like, subscribe, share, and hit the button for more mind altering messages from me. All right. So I will see you. I'll see you soon. Thanks again for your support.